So I wanted to record a video today to share with you the kind of the 5 things that I think make a big difference to physiotherapy working effectively, not just for the short term, but for the long term. So I've made myself a few notes. I always worry about being really professional, but at the end of the day, this is life. This is what it's like. And I have them in my head, and as soon as I sit in front of a video, it all goes out my head. So I've written myself some little notes which I'll be looking down at. So to start off with, the first thing that I always think is important, and I'm sure most of you would too, is to kind of get a diagnosis. Now, a diagnosis doesn't always come via an X-ray or a scan, and to be honest with you, the vast majority of time it doesn't. So you can get X-rays and scans, and sometimes it's really clear and it's a very straightforward, you've got this is what we're going to do. But for the vast majority of people with back pain, hip pain, knee pain, all those things that are going on, shoulder, neck, elbows, feet, whatever you can name it, having a diagnosis is like a magical mystery tour. You know, you can go to one person, they'll tell you one thing, and you'll go to another person, they'll tell you another. For me, as a therapist who's been working nearly 24 years when I've recorded this video, getting an understanding of what's causing someone's pain or stiffness is really important. It doesn't need to be as specific as the X-ray says it's this degree of arthritis or whatever. And to be honest with you, lots of scans and X-rays don't really create a really clear picture. But a really good therapist is very able to take down a history of what you're complaining about, how it behaves, the things that make it better and worse, how long you've had it, where it is, etc., what it feels like, and give you a really pretty good idea what the issue in the tissue is. And of course, we can do that online as well, face to face. And for a lot of things, believe it or not, you can often give me a description of where it is and what it feels like, and I'd probably pretty much be able to tell you what's causing it. So we're looking really to understand, okay, whether it's a muscle, joint, nerve problem, or whether actually the issue is more about how you move and how you hold yourself. So then we need to go to the second one. So we've decided what we think the tissue might be causing a problem, or whether it's a tissue or whether it's more of a sort of persistent pain problem, because our bodies are really good at generating pain in their own right, which is a whole other story and a whole other video. But the next thing we need to do is understand, well, why is it not going away? You know, I've had it for so long. Why isn't it gone away? Why isn't rest getting rid of it? Or why is the therapy or the exercises that I've tried not working? So that's the second thing we need to understand in our journey to recovery, or to getting the best out of our physical health. So understanding why it's not going away. All right. And there will always be a reason. And that's how we make the right decisions in terms of rehab, is understanding where the blockage is, if you like. Okay. Now the next thing then is number 3, is to set a goal. It's no use just teaching you a load of exercises just for exercise's sake, because for the vast majority of us, we'll get bored eventually. And also we need to progress and move forward. So the thing that I always do is, once I understand what's going on, once I understand why it's not getting better, then I want to know, what do you want to achieve? And honestly, guys, I don't want to have pain. Yeah, of course you don't want to have pain, and I understand that. And pretty much every therapist's goal is to reduce as much as can, or even possibly get rid of pain. That's what we're going to do. But there are some people I know who've been to therapists, and in the past I've heard it, where the therapist said, if it hurts, don't do it. Well, that's not a solution, okay? Because ultimately you're going to end up doing less and less and less and less, and before you know it, that in itself creates a problem. So if you're coming to see if you were seeing me or another therapist, they should be saying to you, what, and I don't mean what would you like to achieve, I mean, what is really important to you? How is this particular problem impacting you on your life? So it could be that your big thing is you want a better night's sleep. It could be that you actually want to be able to go away for a weekend and be able to wander around the seafront for several hours at a time without having to sit down every 5 minutes. It could be that you want to be able to go back to your gym or go back to running, be able to garden more often, run around after your kids, get on and off the floor. You know, you name it, anything is important. It doesn't matter whether you perceive it to be a small or a big goal. It's important to you. That's the thing we should be working on. So once we've decided that, we go to number 4, which is to design a physical rehab plan. We are physiotherapists, that's what I do for a living. But physical therapy and rehab and exercise isn't just about strength. Yes, we need to look at what needs to be stronger, but it needs to be muscle strength, or strengthen your bones, or strengthen your joints. We also need to think about flexibility of the muscles, the joints, the structures that surround that, tendons and so on and so forth, loading them properly, but also the flexibility of your nervous system. Your nerves need to move around, okay? So we need to improve them too. We need to think about balance, timing, coordination, feedback. And by feedback, I mean, where you are in space. Gravity acts on us all of the time. It might be that actually your muscles in your hips, your glutes are really strong, but there's a really big relationship between the sensory receptors on the soles of your feet and the hip for timing and coordination. So it might actually be they're just not being fired up in the right pattern of movement or at the right time, or it might be that you're over egging it. Have you ever done that thing where you've gone to pick something off the floor and it's either been too heavy or too light, and you've either fallen forward or recoiled back? That's because your nervous system's making judgments about how much muscle tone, where to organize you in space to be. So all of those things need to be considered. How well do your muscles work together as a team? When you push, pull and lift, it isn't just about shoulder strength, it's about your ability to coordinate your balance and stay upright, and the strength and control that you have around the muscles in your trunk. We need to think about all of those things too. Don't think I've lifted anything else out, but I'll come back to it if I do. The other thing that we also need to consider in our rehab plan, and also about maybe partly overlaps with why it's not getting better, is your beliefs and understanding about your situation. So your body is really good at protecting you. Kind of pain is a bit of a protector, not always helpful, but it is. And so if you have understanding or a belief that there's nothing you can do, then we need to tackle that. Okay, we need to tackle you to give you confidence to move, but also the fact that your body and your nervous system learns to protect you. So if certain movements have caused you pain or problems before, we need to address that. We can't just keep avoiding them. And there's a way in which we can teach your nervous system and your body not to become so protective and create that muscle spasm, that guarding, that horrible can't move, can't do anything response. Okay, and we need to address that. So beliefs and understandings, and working through those and where they come from and are they helpful or not helpful, they're the things that we need to also include in a rehab plan, not just your exercises. We need to think about, next thing is number 5, which overlaps in it, is support, ongoing support, not only necessarily of your therapist, okay, but maybe peer support as well, other people in the same situation as you. Recovery isn't, physical health isn't like a linear, you start here, you get a therapy, you make a decision to do it, and you just get better and better. It's up and down, because of course, I'm going to say to you, we're going to work on step 1, and when you get really good at that, fantastic, but we need to move to the next level, and then the next level. And when you have your not so good days, you need someone to give you a reassurance. Yay, it's great, you're doing brilliantly, this is a normal response. Or maybe we need to change something up, or maybe we need to make it slightly harder, or maybe we need to mix things around a little bit. But I say to anyone who's working with me, you could be looking at, especially if you had a problem for quite some time, you could be looking at 6 months to a year. Don't give up. So many people start with enthusiasm and good intention, and after a couple of weeks of doing them, maybe not as often as they should do either, is that it's not getting better, so therefore it's not working, therefore we should stop. So support also encourages you to keep motivated, to know that you're okay, to cheer you on when you're doing rounds and support you when you need a bit of come on, let's do it, and being accountable, having somebody else to say, yeah, I've done this 3 times a week, or a prompt, or whatever it takes to help you as an individual motivate and support you. So they're the 5 things. Number 1, understanding what's causing it, the tissue issue, the diagnosis type thing, and it doesn't have to be exact. Number 2, Why isn't it improving? Why hasn't it improved in time, with rest, or with previous therapy or exercises? Number three, the physical element of it, looking at all those physical strength and exercise, time and coordination balance, and also understanding your beliefs. So that part of the therapy that you need to deal with too. Number four, setting a goal that's meaningful to you and that we can work towards. Okay. Number five, getting support. All of those things come together and work together and can make a fantastic rehab plan. And I know for a fact, because all the years I've been working, okay, that there's usually an element or two missing. All right. So I hope you found that helpful, and I might see you soon.